Prizes include discounts, TDC gift cards, sweet treats, and much more. What's Easter without some shopping fun? So visit the City Drugstore this Easter and win big in our Hunt Your Prize promotion.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
When they start them there, we are top man, we take charge. Have no reaching now, we are shell down hard. Blast like a star in some Galapagos. Over no which we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to another edition of Voices here on Win FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we have here in our studios at 98.9 Mr. Sidney Osborne. He is the CARICOM Ambassador and OECS Commissioner. We also have Mr. Richard Berridge. Samuel Berridge. My bad. I'm so sorry.
He doesn't play cricket, right?
We have Samuel Berridge, who is the Assistant Secretary for Regional Integration and the Diaspora Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the studios of WinFM 98.9. You did say you have been here before, but welcome again.
Right, it's been a long time, so good morning.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yes, so we're here to have a conversation on the progress the OECS has been making, some developments in the OECS and, of course, in CARICOM, and that will be the focus of our conversation here today. You know, of course, we're in a COVID-19 pandemic, and so the listeners would want to hear what the OECS has been doing in the fight against COVID. What are some of the plans that you have in place? And basically to hear what the OECS is doing. Know that the OECS is celebrating 40 years, which is indeed a remarkable achievement. It says celebrating 40 years onward with integration for progress and sustainability. And of course, we are in COVID. We have seen the shutdown, the complete shutdown of the economies all across the Caribbean region. I think that this theme chosen by the OECS is quite fitting because definitely we would need some sustainability. So welcome to the studios of WinFM 98.9. Let me just say good morning to all our listeners in Radioland at home and abroad. And of course, those of you who have joined via the social media platforms such as Facebook and YouTube. Let me just give you the numbers early so you can jot them down if you're the first time listener. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. We have also upgraded. We have a WhatsApp number now where you can reach us at 662-22 Good morning again, and welcome to this discussion right here on Voices at WinFM 98.9. Mr. Osborne, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States is celebrating 40 years. As I said earlier, it is indeed a remarkable achievement. And so let me just say, on behalf of all of us here at WinFM, I would want to congratulate the OECS on
Certainly.
achieving such a milestone. And of course, there were some challenges. We would understand in every organization, everything would not be as glorious as we would want it to be. But to see that the OECS 40 years later is still there, is still doing, and is still making a name, or continuing to make a name for itself, is something that we must continue to celebrate and to talk about. What is your position on that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Cornelius. I want to thank you for inviting us, and also to say a very good morning to your listeners and viewers to this particular program, Voices. I think in terms of the OECS and also CARICOM, but today we are here in terms of OECS,
Yes.
I think we have been recalcitrant in a way, in that we haven't been in the media in terms of expressing and letting people understand what the role the OECS plays as far as St. Kitts and Nevis is concerned. I know there are a lot of negative comments at times in terms of why we in the OECS, and more so why we in CARICOM. So I just want to give a historical presentation in terms of the OECS, indicate some of the things that we've done, and Mr. Berridge, who is here with me, he will also speak to some of the various organs and so on we have within the OECS, and how really they operate and how St. Kitts and Nevis benefits. I think all of us are aware of the fact that the OECS, there was a treaty signed called the Treaty of Bastia, which was signed here in St. Kitts on the 18th of June, 1981. So that's when the OECS itself was established. And what the treaty seeks to do is to enhance cooperation between the member states and promote unity and solidarity amongst them. As citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, we as a people need to understand and appreciate that the treaty also seeks to establish a single financial and economic space where goods, capital, and people move freely. Maybe I should emphasize the last one, where people move freely. The OECS really is an intergovernmental organization dedicated to economic harmonization and integration, protection of human and legal rights, and the encouragement of good governance between countries and territories in the Eastern Caribbean. I should say one of the important roles, really, of the organization is to spread responsibility and liability in the event of natural disasters which threaten our nations. We know hurricanes, earthquakes, our vulnerabilities to climate change, which occasions coastal erosion. So these are some of the issues that we need to maybe develop in a way as we have our discussion. Just to let everyone know that the protocol member states are Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So these are the 7 protocol member states of the organization with all the rights and privileges. We also have 4 associate member states: Anguilla, the BVI, Guadeloupe, and Martinique are part of this umbrella OECS organization. And I should let the public know that discussions are presently ongoing with 2 countries, which I would not name at this time, that have applied for associate membership in the organization. So I can say that these 11 member states have a landmass of 2,280 square miles and approximately about 1.5 million persons in terms of the population. Compare that to St. Kitts and Nevis, 104 square miles and 50,000 persons. So you see the great disparity where that is concerned. So for us in the Eastern Caribbean, the OECS represents a critical land mass and population, which gives us a larger impact and a greater voice on the world stage in negotiations with international organizations and the global community, that is the various nations around the world. The organization also seeks to create an economic union amongst its member states and to remove or reduce barriers to trade in order to establish the single market and customs union. Now, just to refer to the signing of the revised treaty in 2011. This revised treaty established the OECS Economic Union with significant changes in the institutional arrangements of the organization. These were introduced and adopted. And I think the most salient development was the establishment of a new commission, which functions in a similar fashion to a board of directors and comprises the Director General of the organization, who presently is Dr. Didacus Jules, as chairperson, and a representative from each member state serving as commissioner. In most of our member states, we have merged the OECS commissioner also with the ambassador in terms of CARICOM. So a single individual in most of the countries in CARICOM and in the OECS, that person is commissioner, OECS, and ambassador CARICOM. I think everybody should know that the commission is based in St. Lucia, and it's really the principal organization of the OECS. There are a number of organs which have been established really to accomplish the functions entrusted to the OECS under the treaty. And just to name 5 of them, the authority, which is heads of government, Council of Ministers, OECS Assembly, Economic Affairs Council, and the OECS Commission. But I want to go a step further and say, in addition to these, there are a number of institutions which are recognized as important bodies within the organization. I just want to touch on the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, which has jurisdiction in participating member states. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, which is headquartered in St. Kitts and Nevis. I think we all are aware of that. And it was established as a single financial space for the organization. The ECCB is the regional central bank overseeing the financial and banking integrity of the OECS. Part of the bank's oversight lends to maintaining the financial integrity of the EC dollar. Important because we all recognize the strength of the EC dollar and the stability in the EC dollar. There has not been any devaluation of the EC dollar. It still remains 1 year's EC 270. The Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority is another institution, and it governs and ensures the safety and security of all airports within the organization. It's headquartered in Antigua, and as I said, the agency serves as the Aviation Accident and Incident Investigation Authority of its jurisdiction. I would say what's important also is that the authority's role is to provide leadership to ensure that member states maintain the Category 1 status of the airports that it regulates. So Mr. Cornelius, these institutions ensure that there is a common policy, common legislation enacted, which provide for operations as a single domestic space and not as individual states. Let me just touch, we can expand on this a little later, but I just want to touch on what St. Kitts and Nevis enjoys being a member of this organization, because I know out there's always the question asked, why are we in it? What is in it for us? We have an harmonization of foreign policy. Can elaborate on that at some point. We also have part of joint diplomatic missions. We have a mission in Brussels, and we have recently a mission in Morocco with Ambassador Ian Creeley, the former Commissioner of Police, as the resident ambassador in Morocco. Importantly, we have the PPS. What is that? The Pharmaceutical Procurement Service. As I say, I'm not going to do the elaboration now. We can get into that. There's an education project where you're looking at a curriculum from K through 12, and I'm talking about something which is standardized as far as our OECS region is concerned. We have ECTEL, the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, and within St. Kitts and Nevis, we have the NTRC, which is our National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission. Important nowadays, ICTs, so that is something which is encompassed by the OECS. COVID-19, well, there's a lot that could be said in terms of what the OECS and its involvement in terms of procuring the vaccine, right, which we are presently using, and I think there's some 21,600 doses to come in sometime today.
This afternoon.
This afternoon, okay. The inclusion of Guadeloupe and Martinique is very important because it gives a connection with the EU and also with France, because of the inclusion of Martinique and Guadeloupe. There's cultural diversity, exchange of youth between countries, and more importantly, if we talk about the French, and you see the influence and the diversity that we have in terms of French culture and the culture in the other OECS states. We have the Canada OECS Workers Program, where persons go to Canada each year in terms of agricultural workers, and it's important because the remittances generate economic activity here in this island and those that are part of this particular scheme. We will emphasize the blue and green economy because that's important as we move through the years now and look at food security, look at our energy and how we can really deal with energy and become more efficient and also make it cheaper. There is border security. I'm sure you heard of the RSS, and actually the vaccines which came earlier, they were brought in by the RSS because they do have air transport. We are working towards having an ED card, which will be online. So that is something which more or less will be in the future. And in order to move goods around and people, there's been some talk and discussion about a fast ferry service. So we don't only have to depend on air services, but then we want to see how we can travel through the region in terms of using sea transport. So that, in a nutshell, gives your audience an idea of some of the things which we do benefit from as being part of this organization. And it's important for us to note that size is really important, so that having a land mass of over 2,000 square miles and a population of over 1.5 million people in the OECS region itself, you can see that the impact that will have, as I said before, in terms of whatever negotiations you want to have in terms of the institutions, both regional and international, and also in terms of any kind of negotiations we want to have with countries. So, Mr. Cornelius, I think that gives the audience a brief synopsis, in a way, of the role of the OECS, and also indicating that St. Kitts and Nevis does benefit. It does contribute also in terms of the OECS. As I said, it was signed here in St. Kitts and Nevis way back in 1981. And so here in St. Kitts and Nevis, obviously, when we get to the month of June, one of the things we really want to do is to do something to showcase some aspects of the OECS, for instance, food, the culture, those aspects on the day which we celebrate the 40th anniversary. So a sort of exhibition, fair, and have some music, which would feature music of the Caribbean, the French influence, I nearly said Kittitian, so I would say the Eastern Caribbean influence. There's also the Spanish, there's Jamaican, you name it, in terms of when you look at the Caribbean countries. And more so, when you look at St. Kitts and Nevis, you see the diversity in terms of persons from other islands in the region that are here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Osborne. Let us take a quick break to say thank you to our sponsors, and when we return, we will continue with Mr. Samuel Berridge. Let's take a short break.
You need a drink, have a Viva, Viva. You want some fun, get a Viva, Viva. Taste the flavor, have a Viva, Viva. Oh yeah, Viva is the one. Say goodbye to boring. Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water. Water, but better.
Gift for Dad's birthday? Click. Ooh, Janice's retirement party? Click. Outfit for my girl's wedding? Click.
With TDC Airbox, you click, we ship. Register for your free U.S. mailbox today and shop all your favorite stores online. Enjoy the convenience. Free consolidation up to £10. Competitive rates. Free package tracking account with live notifications. Free delivery and, of course, excellent customer service. Visit our website at tdcairbox.com and register today. For more information, visit our offices at the C.A. Paul Industrial Site in St. Kitts and Penny's Industrial Site in Nevis. Follow us on social media at TDC Airbox. TDC Airbox. You click, we ship. Terms and conditions apply.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV, connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD, plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Good morning again and welcome back to Voices here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and as I said before, we have here Mr. Sidney Osborne. He's the CARICOM Ambassador and OECS Commissioner, as well as Samuel Berridge, who is the Assistant Secretary with Regional Integration and the Diaspora Unit. in the office of the Prime Minister. We will now hear from Mr. Berridge.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cornelius, and good morning again to all the listeners in the radio land and via the internet. I want to thank Ambassador Osborne for his presentation, which would have shed some light on the focus of our presentation. One point I want to try to underscore in my presentation is the unwavering need and the desire of people of our region to integrate. And as Mr. Cornelius said, we are at the Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit. We tend to focus heavily on regional integration and matters related to that broad objective. And I would like to emphasize today that since 1966, that year, the members, the smaller member states of CARICOM at that time, they were known as the West Indies Associated States, WISA, and that organization, that subset, actually decided to came together and to cooperate, functional cooperation, to promote cooperation among the member states at regional and international levels. So even after the West Indies Federation had broken up in 1962, and Trinidad went its way, Jamaica went its way, Barbados went its way, the smaller member states decided, hey, we have to try to keep the integration engine running. And that's when they formed WISA in 1966. And in 1968, there was the Eastern Caribbean Common Market, which is different to the wider CARICOM, CARIFTA, and the other common market and other regional integration schemes which were in the region. So in 1968, on the 11th of June, that is when a further pitch was made to forge the ties of integration. And then 1981, as Ambassador Osborne hinted, on the very steps of government headquarters, on Church Street, is where the OECS treaty was signed, and it was named the Treaty of Bastia 40 years ago. So there was a progression. So people, skeptics of regional integration always say, why we don't go on our own? But there has always been a desire. There was the Leeward Islands Police Force. There was the Leeward Islands Teachers College. They have always been regional integration pillars. It has been like a spine running through the whole organ of the region. And so this is not a new enterprise. 40 years, they say life begins at 40. But 40 years is a remarkable achievement. And we would just like to shine some light and to celebrate the achievements, because we need to recognize that the OECS touches the lives of every single person in the Caribbean. It touches the lives whether or not you know it. It touches when you spend money, you spend EC dollars. Even if you don't spend EC dollars, you spend US dollars, you still need the central bank to perform a role in terms of conversion, in terms of buying goods and services. The banks, even if you put your money under your bed, you still have to get rid of the money. So there's the Monetary Council, which sets policies, fiscal policies for the member states. You send your children to school, the curriculum is a standardized curriculum, which was put together by the OECS body which deals with education. There was OECS education reform. There was an OERU, Education Reform Unit, which coordinated that kind of work. If you're dealing with agriculture, whatever field you're dealing with, the OECS touches your lives. And we don't have to question the role of the central bank in St. Kitts and Nevis, the impact, the economic impact. Everybody who works there has to build a house or pay rent. So our people can actually go to the bank and take out a mortgage and rent to some of the staff members until they are able to purchase their own homes. So at that level, there is a contribution. So we just wanted to highlight, and the other aspect is the pharmaceutical procurement service. All of the drugs at the hospital, practically all of it, is bought in bulk and distributed to the member states. So what we are paying for standard drugs, hypertension and diabetes and other drugs, is nowhere near to the real cost of it. It is because of the OECS why we're able to pay the price that we are paying for certain pharmaceuticals, because of the pooled and the shared resources and the mechanism for that. So I just wanted to hit that point before I go on to the free movement of people, which sometimes is a hot button topic.
Yes.
The free movement of people is a no-brainer. It's a given in the OECS. In fact, some people are here, and you think they are Kittians and Nevisians, but they have been here so long. They are from Dominica. They are from the other protocol member countries. The other protocol member countries, as Ambassador mentioned a few minutes ago, and they are integrated fully into our economy. They go to our churches. They are part of the workforce. They contribute to economic activity. And I don't know if you realize, but our population is very small, and there is room for growth. There is room for dynamism, and all of the sectors, there is room for growth. So we welcome all of our OECS nationals, and we like to look at it as people coming, but we can also go. You know, we can also go to the other member states. St. Lucia is much bigger than we are. St. Vincent, Grenada. And people get married all the time. People find new friends and new business opportunities. And it's an opportunity for them to move freely and be treated as a national of that member state. That's the fundamental principle, national treatment. So that in itself is a benefit, and we are here to shed light on that.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Burridge. Some very interesting points that you touched on. And if I may add to that, you spoke about the need for there to be regional integration. Mm-hmm. And I must support that. We would understand that the Caribbean or CARICOM OECS working together, in my opinion, means the development of small island developing states. It means the development of your economy in the area of sport, culture, health, social development, you name it. And so some would say that it's best to work on your own and do things your way. But I would say it's better to work as a team. You know, when COVID began, I was of the view that everyone should have worked together. I was of the opinion that some countries took a different approach, while some countries were like, okay, I'll do it this way, and I'll do it that way. So, in my opinion, there needs to be more regional integration, because we understand that working together, it would assist you in achieving your goals better, and you will see less challenges, less difficulties. You know, would you want to comment, Mr. Osborne?
I want to, since you brought up the matter of COVID-19, I think that is one area that we should really look at.
Right.
Because this is where we have been together, not just in terms of OECS,
right,
but in terms of CARICOM. The heads of government, both OECS and CARICOM, meet regularly. The good thing nowadays, we can't move out of St. Kitts and Nevis, so we have virtual meetings on a regular basis.
Right.
The heads have their own chat group, and most of the emphasis right now has been on this whole area of COVID. In terms of vaccines which were donated, that was a pooled approach. And that is why I think if you recognize what happened with the first flight, the flight that came here before, they took the vaccines to various islands within the Caribbean. In that case, I think it was mainly the OECS countries because it was a donation at that time. If you check on what is going to happen now, it's not only CARICOM with respect to the vaccines which should be here, say, today,
Right.
but they're going to places like Costa Rica, just to give you an example. So this pooled approach makes it easier for us to be able to source the vaccines. So I must say that as far as COVID is concerned, the CARICOM region, the OECS region, has worked as one. And that is why we have been successful in receiving vaccines, whereas, there are other countries that haven't received any as yet. And you're hearing now that there is a short supply of vaccines. So we, in terms of the OECS, we even in terms of St. Kitts and Nevis, we were in a way ahead of the game, that we realized that vaccines will be available. So we started the process early along in terms of procurement. All right. So certainly with the COVID, I must say to you and to the people here in St. Kitts and Nevis and anyone who outside the region who listen, that we have worked together on this matter of COVID.
Great. And Mr. Osborne, that answers the question that I had in terms of how did the OECS collectively tackle COVID-19. Yeah. And so it is good to note that everyone was not on their own.
What I should say, that I didn't mention this, but this whole thing was done through our commission.
Right.
The commission based in St. Lucia, the Director General and his staff, along with heads and so on. But in terms of getting things done, it was done through the commission based in St. Lucia. And so we all were aware of what was happening. We all had our input as far as this matter is concerned. And then we had the wider CARICOM in terms of getting vaccines for the entire CARICOM region, from Bahamas in the north way down to Suriname in the south. Yeah. Some have gone on their own because of bilateral relations that they have.
Right.
So I think some of them are getting vaccines from China, some are getting vaccines from Russia. But we were part of the COVAX facility where we had the pool resources, and we had made a contribution to the COVAX facility. And so that is why we get our vaccines today from that particular facility. It's supposed to deal with 20% of the population. We already got a donation before that from India. So there's still some vaccines which we require. I'll say one other thing. It was interesting last night when the CMO spoke on leadership matters about the 70% to be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And I think the point that we have been missing, 70% is all of the adult population of St. Kitts and Nevis. 30% of the population is below 18. Mm-hmm. So when some people say they're going to be part of the 30%, to be part of the 30%, you have to be under 18 at the present time. So as it stands now, 70% herd immunity in St. Kitts and Nevis means all persons 18 years and over. And I think that is something that needs to be said again and again. So those who are skeptical and those who say they're waiting, there's no need to wait once the vaccine is available.
Mr. Osborne, if we may go off a bit, I wanted to touch on the free movement aspect of the conversation. Mm-hmm. As we're approaching, it's 11:41, so I wanted to touch on that aspect quickly. Mm-hmm. And just a question. You alluded to it earlier. We have people from Dominica, St. Lucia, SVG that would come here. live here, and they have been making a significant contribution. Work, school, church, play, you name it. Can we do the same? If you go to St. Lucia, can you go and buy a piece of land, build a house? Do you need work permits? Can you explain that?
You don't need a work permit.
It's a reciprocal agreement. The treaty is a reciprocal agreement, and it's based on the fundamental principle of national treatment. That is the backbone of the whole enterprise. So they are guaranteed by law. They are guaranteed the same treatment, the same protections as nationals. So it's something which we just need to create awareness.
Right.
They have access to the same benefits.
Benefits, right. So you're
treated
national. As a national.
Yes. All you have to do is to assert your rights. Now, you might go to a government office and they would say, oh, she just come from Kitty. Or we have this session, you bang water to come here. That is a really offensive statement.
It is.
You know, and in terms of the regional integration enterprise, it is something which is not backed up by law. And if people were to challenge these things, they have a real case. You know, so it's not a case where they are coming. We can also go. And I know many people who have gone to the other member states.
Right.
As we travel the region, we see them, and they are comfortable where they are. They have businesses, their children are going to school, and that is the whole objective of the regional integration enterprise, to have persons moving freely and contributing to economic development.
I would like to say, I usually deal with this from a little different perspective, for the simple reason. Ask yourself the question, why do we see this movement to St. Kitts and Nevis? Why is there this movement to St. Kitts and Nevis? People don't go to a place where things are bad, as far as I'm aware. So it must be that in St. Kitts and Nevis they're doing something right.
Yes.
And as Sammy Berridge said, our population is small, so we do need, in terms of persons here, for jobs which are available. In some cases, our people don't want to do the jobs, but that's another matter. So why do they come here? Why the Prime Minister last night could say he's going to put another $15 million or make it available for first-time homeowners? Why did he say last night another $3 million in terms of business development? He did say no more buses, because I think we have enough of that at the present time. It is because of the fiscal management of this country since 2015 that we had all these surpluses. All right? So I wanted to disavow this thinking we have in St. Kitts and Nevis, everybody coming here. But we can go. The question is, are you going to leave St. Kitts? We don't pay personal income tax. And go to St. Lucia, just to give an example. I'm not knocking St. Lucia. I'm just saying, go to another country. Let me just say, go to another country. We want things you have to pay income tax. Isn't that an attraction to bring persons here? Because as Sammy said, you got the same rights and privileges as part of the OECS wherever you go within the OECS.
Right.
You know.
So Osborne, just before we open the phone lines, as it is 11:45, there is one last question I wanted to ask. People would often say that, for example, here in St. Kitts, there may be a notice for a job at a particular organization, and they may apply for the job, and they may not get it. And somebody from Dominica, St. Lucia, SPG, I'm just calling random countries, may get the position. Comments would follow after, like, they're not looking after the locals, and they looking for the foreigners. What I say is that I don't think you should just be given a job just because you're a Kiddishan or just because you're an Evision. I'm not saying that should not be the case, but it should be a part of the criteria. But are you qualified for it? Are you able to carry out your duties and responsibilities effectively and efficiently? Should I just give it to you because you're from St. Kitts and Nevis, forgetting that in the long run, I would need you to enhance the business and enhance the organization?
The competitiveness is a competitiveness issue, and you're competing with the world. Today we are competing in a global context, and wherever we can get our resources from, I would say start within the OECS.
Right.
If we can get it in the OECS, we should look to that. And this is nothing new, you know. We have had teachers from St. Lucia and the other islands, policemen, who you
Nurses,
think who you thought were born here. Because we obsessed. We obsessed with this notion of, I was born here. You know, born here. I was born here. Here is where I'm from. My neighbor Stringberry here. We are caught up with those notions. I'm not saying that there should be nothing attached to citizenship.
Right.
Because their citizenship is dignified.
I agree.
However, if we are about to be competitive in a global context, we need to get the best skills. We can train our people to meet those standards. Let's look at that. Let's raise the level. Let's raise the standards where they don't exist. Let's raise the level so we can compete with the world.
Right.
Right now, the world is my theater. St. Kitts and Nevis is not my theater. It's not limited to St. Kitts and Nevis. Even though I am loyal and deeply loyal to St. Kitts and Nevis, you can't take away that from me. But you have to look. You have to look beyond the borders in order to
Right. And I think
just a quick thing, because you used the word just now, which I would want to ask you that maybe you should not consider using it again. You said these foreigners.
Yes.
Once you're talking about, I know, no, you said it. You said it. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Why we need to understand.
Yes.
In the OECS,
no
a citizen of the OECS, there is no foreigners.
Yes.
We are supposed to be all on the same level playing
Yes.
field,
Yes.
and same thing with the job. The point sometimes is that we don't exhibit the discipline when it comes to a job. That is part of it. And if you look at things like construction, you begin to wonder, well, why people from Jamaica, where you can't call them foreign either, why they are getting these jobs.
Yes.
And I think it's for us to understand that you must have a discipline. Now, when I ask you, would you come out and do some overtime? You're there, because you're going to gain anyway.
Yes.
Friday, don't tell me you finish work at 10 o'clock. Huh? I mean, there's work to be done.
They have to go to the bank to change the check. They have to go to the bank, yes.
But the bank stays open till 4.
Till 4, but they lock off from 10 o'clock, you know.
Yes.
You know, these are certainly things that one has to appreciate.
I understand. Mr. Berridge, Mr. Osborne,
Yeah.
let us open the phone lines. We're running out of time. This is Voices. I want to hear from the callers. We'll open the phone lines.
You could always invite us back, you know.
Definitely. We'll open the phone lines to hear from our callers. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. You can send us a comment via WhatsApp at 662-2204. You are listening to WinFM 98.9. No calls? Okay. We have no callers at the moment, so we will continue. But we have one. Caller, good morning. You're live on Voices.
Greetings. We just tuned in, you know. We didn't hear too much of the reasoning from the starting point. We just tuned in when when your guest asks one not to use the word, that word again. Just a while ago, I was on another radio station, and I used a word while talking about agriculture, and the word there caused my car to be cut abruptly, you know. Anyhow, the word foreigner, you know, they was talking about, on this other station, they was talking about dual citizenship, you know, and voting thing and all the rest of it, you know. And I made a sound and say, these whole heap of false identities, it causing so much confusion amongst us. Because the naked truth be told, we are an African people, you know, in spite of what we've been through from that time up to this time. And it is very important that we embrace one identity, and it will put to rest a lot of the confusion that we are experiencing, you know. Okay, I know there is going to be other callers, so I just end by saying the work you spoke about, one of you spoke about the attitude of workers. I live in Jamaica for some time, and I want to tell you, say them people there, when they come to work, you know, I guess it's because of the system, you know, it's tough there. They can't hungry, they have no food, but money ain't have the value. And they're working there because as much as the crime and a lot of people do things there that is, you know, unwanted, the most of the people are hard-working people, very ambitious people, and like they're born inside of it. So when they travel to these islands and see the opportunities and put in the same work, knowing that the money is different, you know, it is good. It is good. I spoke about the confusion that we are having because of the, you know, Guyanese, Jamaicans, etc., because of the fitting in and the working. We're not talking about the ones who are otherwise, you know, the workers. The one identity, you know, that we are pussyfooting to embrace, you know, it will eliminate all those things. We really need to connect with the continent and get our act together because CARICOM, or no, it will only do part of it. We give thanks to all those tries, but we do only do part of it. We need to go on. We need to go where we ought to go as a people, and make things as it ought to be, even though we are away from the continent. We are continental people. All of us.
Right. Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. We are still taking your calls as we approach the 12 o'clock end time. Numbers to call are 466-0989. We will take just 2 more calls, and then we will wrap up our program and allow the gentleman to respond. We are taking your calls here. In the meantime, if you would like to, we have a call on the line just before we go.
Okay.
Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're live on Voices.
Good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. And you?
Morning.
Good morning to your guests. Yes, I am giving God thanks for today. It was quite an interesting presentation by Mr. Osborne and Mr. Berridge. However, there are certain weaknesses in the OECS. Take the OECS assembly. Does it still exist, or is it just something on the books? I want an answer on that.
Still exists.
The other one has to do with the representation given to our nationals abroad, which I think is unsatisfactory. And Mr. Osborne should know my daughter was down in Suriname stranded. And she tried getting home on the RSS, just saying she's not a Bajan, even though she's married to a Bajan. She must call home to her CARICOM ambassador. No help. And that to me is unfortunate. Because, I mean, somebody had to sorry for her to get her to Barbados. And she said when she got there, she was on the plane, on the airport, for over an hour while they're trying to decide what to do with her. And here we have an ambassador. So we have got to give our people abroad better representation. So I don't know what I think about it because we have people running into things, just like how some other people come here. And I don't think sometimes people are aware that they are entitled to representation. And the people who are supposed to give it must take into consideration the effect on other people's lives. So that's what I have to say. And I must commend the OECS. It has done a lot. It has done a lot to transform the economy, every aspect of our lives. Or another question. Are the benefits given to the OECS citizens the equivalent to that given to CARICOM citizens? That's the next question.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Henry, for your contribution. Do we have any more callers on the line? We have no calls. Gentlemen, if you may.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Henry, and thanks for the first caller speaking about African engagement. Now, the authority recognized this when they decided to have a presence on the African continent. As we mentioned earlier, 2019 we opened an embassy in Morocco. It's in the city of Rabat, the capital city, and Ambassador Ian Quealy is there with a full diplomatic staff. So we are actually reaching out to the African Union and engaging. In fact, there is a facility to procure vaccines in the African continent, and they have offered that to the wider diaspora. So there's the recognition, and much more needs to be done, but it's a work in progress. With respect to the case that Ms. Henry spoke about, we are sorry that your daughter suffered such discomfort, but I know for sure that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Office of the CARICOM Ambassador were working to deal with every single case. We had students stranded everywhere, Guyana, Jamaica, and it was a work in progress. Whenever there was, during the early days of the pandemic, everybody put down their guard. Everybody put up a guard because it was a widespread fear. It was a pandemic. We have not had to deal with this in 100 years. So we must appreciate that there will be missteps along the way. But I think at the end of the day, the very fact that the RSS was used as a mechanism, as a vehicle to bring people home, I myself benefited from the RSS being able to come home after being in Korea for some time. And I think we have to celebrate the achievements and learn from the experiences. Miss Henry, your daughter, suffered some discomfort, and I think we should document these things so we can learn from them, and as we move forward, we can actually achieve more.
Mr. Osborne?
Yeah. In the case, I want to thank Mrs. Henry for her input. Just briefly to say in terms of the daughter, I think we really worked hard to see if to resolve that. We also had a case with respect to Guyana, and it took us forever to get that resolved. I think at one point we even, in terms of St. Kitts and Nevis, were looking at having a charter out of Guyana. I think there are about 9 persons there, to take them to Barbados, and then the RSS would take them from Barbados. So yes, a lot of work was done. There were some difficulties which we encountered, but thank the Lord that eventually we were able to get them here. She asked about the OECS Assembly. It still operates, I believe because of the COVID, that there been some difficulty, because I think with the assembly you'd want to meet in person and not have a virtual assembly meeting.
Right.
So that still exists in terms of the OECS Assembly. The other matter, I think, had to do with work. Just to say, what I find is that once you're a national of a country, there seems to be this thing that you have, a right to work, but you also have a right to determine what you're supposed to do. You look around the world, and you know, the United States, they have to bring in persons from Mexico and other Central American countries to work in the agricultural sector because people don't want to work there. Here, I expect you know, and in all the countries in the CARICOM, there are persons within your borders who are citizens who I think at times are reluctant to do certain jobs, but they have to be done. And I think the opportunity now has existed, and it continues to exist, for full employment here in St. Kitts and Nevis, based on the information with respect to construction of our new hotel facilities, expansion in agriculture, in manufacturing. There is that availability, I think, of jobs once we get past this whole COVID matter.
And there was one last matter with Ms. Henry. The OECS Regional Integration Agreement is deeper than the CARICOM Agreement. There is free movement in the CARICOM, but it's only for certain categories of persons.
Yeah.
Other persons outside of those categories, they would still have to get a work permit in order to move and work in the Caribbean, unless they're setting up a business, which is a different regime. So
Right.
that answers the question posed by Ms. Henry.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Berridge and Mr. Osborne. Unfortunately, we are out of time, and so we would have to end this program here today. Let me say thank you guys so much for accepting our invitation to be here guests on our program. I'm hoping to have you guys back in the near future because this is a very interesting conversation, very, very, very important for us to continue. And for the listeners, to seek some clarification and for you to better explain to those persons who may have any questions. Again, thank you guys so much. You were on Voices. I was your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and until next time, stay safe. We'll take a break right now for the headline news and stay tuned for the second half of Voices. Have a good one.
Thank you, Devon.
Thank you.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs. And make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Tools month again at Horsford's Building Center on Ziggett and Nevis. Don't miss out on the year's best time to buy tools. Get 25% off on selected tools store-wide. Hundreds of tools on sale, slash by 25%. 25% off on tools for this April Tools month at Horsford's Building Center on Ziggett and Nevis. The promotion ends April 30th. Horsford's Building Center, the Federation's favorite home improvement store. Some exclusions apply. See stores for details.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is rolling out Dcash, the next step in the evolution of the EC dollar. Use Dcash to send and receive money to and from friends and family. Make payments directly from your smart device. Make payments from wherever you are. Download the app from the Google Play or Apple Store and sign up, or visit dcashec.com for more information. The future of the EC dollar is digital. Let's make history together.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Voices here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for this afternoon, Devon Cornelius. Let me first apologize for the late start. We are here, and thank you guys so much for tuning in and taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of our program. This afternoon would be more of an open phone line where you can just call in and we can have a discussion on whatever topic is raised. So the phone lines are open. The numbers to call are 466-09-89662 and 762. We also have the WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204. You are listening to Voices on WinFM 98.9. I cannot continue this program without saying even though at this point it may not be news, but the historic event which took place here in St. Kitts on Tuesday, where the Bank of Nevis Limited opened a branch here on St. Kitts. It was indeed an historic event, joyous, momentous occasion, and Dr. Simeon Daniel feels proud, and those men and women who were a part of the early days of the Bank of Nevis, they are proud. They are proud of this remarkable achievement in the banking and financial sector. And I would like to congratulate the management and staff of the Bank of Nevis Limited for making this bold step. Of course, there were other banks across the region who did the same thing. First National Bank in St. Lucia, the Bank of Montserrat, the National Bank of Dominica. Those banks as well acquired operations for the RBC. And so it shows that there is confidence in indigenous banks. And the vision that was there 35 years ago for the people of Nevis to manage and run its own bank, grow and develop its own bank came to fruition. And so, again, I would want to congratulate the Bank of Nevis. Very remarkable. And now, I mean, you have Kittichans here on St. Kitts who have been doing business with the Bank of Nevis for some time, and they're happy now to see that the Bank of Nevis is here where they can carry out their business. We have some callers on the line, so let us take our first call for this afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, and how are you?
I'm blessed in Jesus' name, and greetings in the name of Jesus Christ, the only Savior of sinners from hell and sin, and the second eternal person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, last night I was listening to the government program on another radio channel. I didn't listen to all, just listen to pieces of it. But I would like to say this concerning, as people were calling in, urging the Prime Minister to make the civil servants to take the vaccine. You had the callers in it, and even Dr. Cameron Wilkinson suggested that as well. But I would like to say this. Just like the government enforced lockdown, so likewise, and just like the government enforced social distancing, so likewise, forcing employees to take the vaccine also goes against the teachings of the Bible.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part, caller. Could you repeat that?
Yes. So likewise, government forcing its employees to take the vaccine likewise goes against the teachings of the Bible, because God set forth specific roles and duties and limitations upon government, which you find in Romans chapter 13, which is to praise those who do good and punish those who do evil, and to take up the taxes to perform those duties. And any other thing is beyond the biblical role of government, which would include government forcing people to do these things. So, and anything that goes against the Bible is sinful and wrong and ought to be repented of immediately, because it is sinful, wrong, because it goes against the Bible.
Yes, caller. Can you get to the point, because we have other callers on the line?
Yes. Not only that, but some of the argument that I heard people using was this. which was very wrong and convoluted and inconsistent argument. For example, people was arguing that, oh, if you ain't take the vaccine, you're going to be a threat to society. No. If it is those who ain't take the so-called vaccine, they would be the threat to their own self.
How?
There wouldn't be no threat to nobody.
How would you be a threat to someone if you take the vaccine? Explain.
No. I'm saying people are arguing that if you ain't take the vaccine, you'll be threat to the society, to those who take the vaccine.
Right.
So people was arguing last night.
Right. So I'm asking, because you just said for those who take the vaccine would be a threat. I'm asking for an explanation.
Yeah, that would only be a threat to their own self because if the vaccine is what they say it is, which it isn't, because the vaccine is not about stopping the spread. The vaccine is only about decreasing the symptoms of the sickness. That's all the vaccine is about. Is not about stopping the spread. But if the vaccine was about stopping the spread, that means those who took it, they are now immune to the sickness. But those who ain't take it, those who doesn't take it, you are putting yourself at risk for getting the disease. So you would only be a threat to your own self. You won't be a threat to others who took the vaccine if the vaccine was really about stopping the spread of the virus, which it really isn't. So that argument that people was using last night, that if you ain't taking, you're going to be a threat to others, was really inconsistent. And lastly, last of all, I would like to say that thank God for the Easter season which we just came up, in which Jesus Christ, according to the gospel message, died for his elect, his chosen ones only, to save them from their sin and to save them from eternal hell, which is God's wrath poured out on sinners, unrepentant sinners, who died in their sins and would be in hell for all eternity. But we don't have to go there, because if we accept Jesus Christ as our Savior and Lord and repent and believe his gospel message, his blood will save us from hell and from all of our sins for all eternity in Jesus' name.
Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to our program. We are still taking your calls here on 1FM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. Again, the numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. We have our WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204. I am Devon Cornelius, and I am hosting this afternoon's Voices program on WinFM 98.9. The caller that just went, speaking with the vaccine and whether people should, talking about people being forced to take the vaccine. I mean, there is, in my opinion, a particular message. There's some people, on social media throughout the community that are, in my opinion, kind of calling down, or let me not say kind of, but calling down on you for not taking the vaccine. But let me make it clear that I'm not saying that you should not take it, and I'm not saying that you should, because someone said to me, well, you are in no position, and it's amazing, They said you are in no position to tell anybody whether to take the vaccine or not, and you must be a medical doctor. Well, our ministers of government are not medical doctors. People within the community are not medical doctors, and they encourage people to take the vaccine. Let's take this other call. Caller, good afternoon. You're live on Voices.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
That issue concerning that vaccine will always be an issue, and people will find themselves in a position, or we will find ourselves in a position that we only know we need something when we don't have it when the time comes. And because we have not been touched with that virus, and it's not on our doorstep, it doesn't concern us. We're not really bothered. And that's the way we operate. Something serious has to happen for us to act. And we wait until the last moment and say we should have, but we could have. One of the good things they would not be able to say, that the government of the day did not move forward in making sure that the necessary due diligence was done in kits. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's no force on you. We have a choice. You choose if you want it or you don't want it. But I know there are people in other countries that are rushing for it. And if we don't want it, give it to those who don't really need it. Maybe someday we'll find ourselves needing it. The other thing is that it's the Bank of Nevis that really impresses me. That happened yesterday. I found myself a customer of Bank of Nevis without even applying to become so. Because that was practically forced upon me. Well, I guess it's not vaccine, so that's the way it is. But it had been said a long time ago that a death of a whelk is promotion to a soldier crab. So I've seen the promotion to Bank of Nevis being promoted in St. Kitts to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and the whole. So having the name St. Kitts, Bank of Nevis, and I'm not sure who is the real owner behind it. I'll have to dig out some information on it to see who is the real heavyweight behind that bank.
Wait.
And look forward for its sustainability.
Wait,
again?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you guys said. You mean the owner of the Bank of Nevis?
The owners of the bank and who are they linking bank, who are they communicating bank, and who they connected with and so on.
You mean in terms of the establishment of the bank?
And the strength of the bank, yes. I know enough to know that I don't know enough of the bank, tell you the truth, even though it's in my own backyard. And I should know, because I should have spent some time looking at what the operation of the bank, because it's in my backyard, and so I should have known. But the truth is, I don't know. So, but I'm a customer of the bank, so that's the way it is. But I say congratulations to them. And Nivision are always with Kibishon, so they always come over. Now the time they come down, there are times when we goes up. So we will see what happens, and I wish them all the best, and I hope things work out in the best interest of St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful program. It's a learning institution that where one can choose to learn or choose not to learn anything. If you don't want to do, you can turn a deaf ear if you so choose to. But it's been a wonderful day. Take care, my friend. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your input. You are listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. The phone lines are still open. We are still taking your calls. I'm your host for today. The numbers are 466-0989-762 and 662. Let me say good afternoon to all of you who are listening via the radio, those at home and abroad. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
I'm giving thanks. And yourself?
Same here.
Yes, it's a wonderful feeling to give thanks. It's something that is a part of our fabric. Do you have the guest that you had on in the portion of the program?
Pardon?
You had some guests on earlier?
Yes. Mr. Sidney Osborne and Samuel Berridge. Sidney Osborne is the CARICOM ambassador and the OECS commissioner, and Samuel Berridge is the assistant secretary for...
I just tuned back in, so I did not hear much of... I just heard the last caller's contribution. Are you in the studio?
No. They were for the first hour.
Oh, okay.
They were just for the first hour. So this afternoon is more so of an open
mic.
session, open mic.
Yeah. Okay, good. I wanted to touch though, because I was predisposed to, and let me say happy OECS, for reaching such another milestone. But I listened to one of your episodes that shed some light, and so I was predisposed to some added information on what possibly, in my opinion, would have morphed into what became OECS. But I would admit that I'm not sure which one of the organizations, the OECS or CARICOM, which one of them are older than the other. But OECS just turned what, 42? Comment say about
40.
40?
Yes.
Yes. You have any information as to how old the CARICOM is, the wider regional body?
I do not have that information at hand, but I can get that for you shortly.
Yes. So let me try the line because I don't know which one proceeds the other. Hello?
Hello? Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. But you had some information. It was an episode where a gentleman called in and he was speaking about the arrangement with when we were associated with St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla. And it was little of the
We seem to have lost that caller. The numbers to call are 466-0989. The phone line is still open. If we have no callers at this time, let's take a break to say thank you to our sponsors, and we will be back to continue our program. You are listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let's take a short break.
Everything's gotta go. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go. Clearance sale is happening now. All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go. Yes, come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models. That's right. Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models. And that's not all. Come now and get 0% down payment. No payment until May 2021. $500 in free groceries, free servicing for 1 year, free bill of sale, free tinting, free registration, free accessories, and free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles, price to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is rolling out Dcash, the next step in the evolution of the EC dollar. Use Dcash to send and receive money to and from.
Let me just mention that today is World Health Day. World Health Day is a global health awareness day celebrated every year on April 7th under the sponsorship of the World Health Organization as well as other related organizations. In 1948, the WHO held the first World Health Assembly this day. And, with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, I have joined. You are listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. Remember the 662 and WhatsApp as well at 662-220 milestone. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Greetings.
Yes, we lost you earlier.
Your thanks, your congratulations, to the Bank of Nevis. Look at the state of the health of Earth inhabitants. What the Earth population be again? Let's say 7 billion. There we go.
Some in that region.
Okay. And I want to tell you, most of Earth inhabitants, nothing good health. And the reason for that, is two things. Intake, what people are eating and what people are drink, and the environment. So, on this day, when it is called what it is called, we will love to implore Earth inhabitants, to make the change necessary, Make the change necessary. It is important, see, World Health Day. And we have a health crisis, just like we have other crisis. We have a health crisis. But as Bob Marley the thing say, no matter what the crisis is. So, we make it what it is. So we have to make the change. And we have to revolutionize the thing forward to where it ought to be. These guidelines set from creation how it must go. No, I understand, you know, we only for people, you know, because they say there's Christian people, you know. And then when you look on Christendom world, you know, in my eyes, it's not Christianity, you know. Because they're not Christ like none at all, you know. It's Christendom. Because when you look on them, meaning lifestyle, your death style, when you look on the way them people they exist, you know, them murder every creature off of the earth, every species, eating up almost all the flesh off of the earth, as Bob Marley put it in one song. And don't realize, say, that within doing such, it brings a bad span on the species that is called man-woman. Because we ought not to be eating the carcasses and drinking the blood of other species. It's said in the Bible, writing of Genesis in the very first book, behold, I have given you every green herb of the field. To you it shall be for meat, M-E-A-T, food. But watch it gone. Watch it gone. People eat rat, dog, cat, this, that, power the other. And feel say, no, suppose them species they start on. Me hear somebody say it, but me a young lady say it a while ago, sometime on radio. I think of the same station to the morning program. Suppose the fishes them jump out the sea and start near me. Suppose the animals them will be able to be kill and slaughter with the start near me. How we going to feel about that? We have to make the changes and look at the way we are treating the environment. It's terrible. Terrible the way we are treating the environment. So, we are talking about health, but we not live it. So we want to big up all those who live health and invite those who are just speaking health, invite them to live it also, so that earth inhabitants can live as we ought to. Because right now, most earth inhabitants are existing, walking dead.
Right. Thank you, caller, for your contribution. We have other.
Thanks for the time.
We have other callers. Thank you so much. We are still taking your calls here on our program. It is 20 minutes past the hour of 1. We are still taking your calls. We will wrap up our program at 1:30. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, good afternoon to all of you in Radio Land. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You're live on Voices. Caller, good afternoon. You're live on Voices.
Hey, good afternoon, Devon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to the listeners at home and abroad. It is indeed a good day to be alive. Good afternoon to my family. Eli X, the Rasua just on. That's my good Freeman family. Eli, as bad as you think health is now, you have no idea what it was like. There has been tremendous improvement in health over the years. The infant mortality, children, ask the grandmother them, people were getting 12 just to get 6 alive. Diseases. We are arguing about, vaccine. When I was going to school, you got mumps, you got measles, you got chicken pox, you got smallpox. Everybody has sore foot. Malnutrition, Malnutrition was rampant. So while it is not at where it should be, but it has come a long way. I think sometimes because we don't remember, or we might not have been there or read. You know, Dr. Cuthbert Sebastian wrote a book called 100 Years of Medicine. Have you ever seen it, the one?
No. What's the name of the book you said?
100 Years of Medicine.
100 Years of
I want some of you to get that book. The young doctor father, he was the governor general and all that. When you talk about how there's a treating, it was even predicted that the world couldn't hold this population, you know. But man will always find a way. And Jesus said, it's not what going to the mouth that defile the man, it's the state of the heart. You could eat all the green bush you want and have a wicked heart, you're wicked. So what go to the mouth come out at the back. But the thoughts of the heart are evil and wicked. That is what defiles you. Now let me send congratulations to the Bank of Nevis. That is a very good move. Too often we hear foreign companies buying up and consolidating their power. That's what it is, you know. And for a local bank, an indigenous bank to step out and to acquire the Royal Bank, which has been here all the way back. It's a big move. And I want Kittitians and Nevisians to understand it and to support it. If you can't think bond, think Royal Bank, because some people can have trouble with, you know, the colonialists, as we say.
You know, I've been hearing some, I'm very unfortunate, but I've been hearing some not so good comments about the move.
Yeah, but I mean, they'll get over it.
Yeah.
When National Bank starts, National Bank used to be a penny bank, you know. If you know Bastille, right across Central Street on the corner of Market Street, Central Market Street, that is where the National Bank started. People say, oh, the National Bank, this and that. It started as a bank-to-bank accord. It wasn't a big, no fancy, no bank. People say, oh, Mr. Blatter started. He did not start it. The bank was there. People had their money. What happened is after the government could not get to borrow out of Royal Bank and Barclays Bank, they took over the industrial bank. It was called the Industrial Bank, and started putting their money in it. And then they call it National Bank, and it is what it is today. And some people will say, me put your money in there, and next to the government keep it. You know how it does reason? It is the largest indigenous bank in the OECS, largest and strongest, started from a penny bank. So I expect no less of Bank of Nevis that has taken over Royal Bank. So all of you who are members of Royal Bank, continue to support it. Some more of you go in India. You see what happened the other day in Nevis? Barclays Bank, they shut down their branch in Nevis.
The First Caribbean Bank?
Huh?
First Caribbean?
Yes, that used to be Barclays.
Yes.
Just shut it down like that. So we have got to learn to understand that we need to support our own. And our own have to understand that they have to manage well. And the mere idea that it has survived 35 years, it has been managed. And we expect an improvement. So all of us, it's not Nevis People Bank, it is our bank. The same when the vision we're banking in Barclays, banking in Royal Bank, banking in Bank of the next one, Bank of Nova Scotia. Same way, all Kittitians must support the Bank of Nevis in St. Kitts. When it thrive, we thrive. We all thrive. So Don't try to undermine nothing. I plead the blood of Jesus over all of them, and I overturn the table of the wicked and all the plans of the wicked. I'm going to pray against all of you, you know. Overturn all the plan of the devil. And by the way, those of you who do trading on the stock exchange, let me say it while I'm here, because there are only two banks that can trade. National Bank and Bank of Nevis. So now that it is because I just do my trading at National Bank.
Okay.
Yes, where I buy my shares and stuff and so. Well, you can also do it in Bank of Nevis now down here. So I'm not saying don't go in National, you know. I'm saying you have alternatives. You have alternatives. Go and start to buy shares. If you have money, now is the time to buy shares. When they start to plummet, you buy them up. So when the economy pick up, you have shares. So may the Lord bless the Bank of Nevis, bless all the banks, because all of us in St. have something in there. The cooperatives, God bless them. And learn to support your own. At the end of the day, that might be all we're left with. Every time we turn around one of the foreign banks, oh, well, we go on. After years, you know, of making, we want reparation from them. After, we want reparation. Before they go, we should demand reparation. Because some of them were here, plantation banks. So before they leave, we want reparation. So I am saying again now to all of you listening, support all the banks. Support your bank. Support Bank of Nevis. Oh, they come down here to get me money. Darling, when you put your money in the other foreign banks, it goes out of the country, in case you don't know. Ask me. Anyway, may God bless you and Christopher Nevis. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Henry, for your contribution. We are going to wrap up this program of Voices, this edition of Voices, here on WinFM 98.9. Good afternoon to all of you who took time out of your schedule to be a part of our program. Of course, those of you at home and abroad, and those who joined via the internet. Thank you so much, and continue to have a wonderful Wednesday. Remember, today is Water Wednesday, so please drink some water. Have a good one.